You don't hear anything.
Hello? Hello? I can't hear. Can you hear me?
Do you hear me, Scott?
I can hear you.
Okay, here we go. Well, Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering, it is Tuesday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA. It is time for Tuesdays with DX Engineering. It's 1716 Zulu on October 1st, and we're talking today to our sales manager at DX Engineering, and it's Scott, N3RA. Hello, Scott.
Hi, Tim. How are you doing today?
Good, good. Scott, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about how you got started in ham radio?
Oh, boy. Well, so I was about 13, 14 years old at the time, and a friend of mine who happened to be living next door, for his birthday party, he was six months younger than I am. For his birthday, his parents bought him a AM/FM radio that happened to be from Penny's, and when they went to Penny's to buy it, the radio that they wanted to buy was out of stock. And it's one of those things. So they spent another $5 and upgraded to the next model. Well, turns out his birthday is right before Christmas, and Christmas Day, the day after, he calls me and says, "You have to get over here. I'm listening to the Radio Kiev." And so it turns out that extra $5 they spent, they ended up buying a radio that had shortwave bands on it. So those shortwave bands were my introduction to the world of radio. And so Ken and I spent a lot of time shortwave listening and so forth. And then when I was 15, I took my novice test, got my novice license in December, might have been December 23rd of 1977. And back in those days, to upgrade, you had to go up to, in our case, in Western Pennsylvania, we drove up to Buffalo. So 1978, in late June, early July, I drove up to Buffalo, took my general test, and then did that every year for 2 more years and got my extra in 1980. And of course, the first real operating event that I was on was Field Day of 1978 that you might be slightly familiar with. So, but it's been a really awesome ride ever since.
That may be the first contest that you and I operated together was Field Day in 1978,
That's right.
and since then we've operated over 100 contests together. So that that's good. But so let's fast forward a little bit. You had work life and broadcasting and cellular telephone, but let's fast forward to today or
hmm
your recent history here at DX Engineering. What do you find interesting and fun about being the sales manager at DX Engineering?
Well, so DX Engineering is a really interesting place to work. The things that make it really fascinating is, of course, we have some awesome customers, and we spend a lot of time trying to help them, trying to figure out things if they need something or what they need or what they don't need and so forth. But customers make it really interesting and exciting. But what the other thing that makes it really, really cool is the team that we have here. I mean, we have a team of folks on the sales team and associated support teams that are just fantastic. And the amount of experience that the team has as a whole is remarkable. I mean, it's over 1,000 years of license time that we've all gathered, and these are some awesome people, good friends, and great people to work with, and we share a common desire to help people and to help our customers enjoy the hobby, the greatest hobby there is. And so I think the people and the environment that's here, and then of course our customers, make it really special and make it awesome to be part of.
Well, that's the great thing because when the phone rings or an email comes in or a text message comes in from a customer that has a question, it's an opportunity for us to really showcase the awesome customer service that we have. I mean,
Yep.
most of our customers have heard about the awesome shipping
Right.
that we have and how fast things get shipped out. Um, Scott, let's talk about some of the new hams that are getting started in the hobby, and what your recommendation would be, or how can they, what's the first radio look like these days?
Well, that's interesting because there's a whole host of ways people are getting involved in the hobby, right? I mean, we do have some young folks that are getting involved, which is fantastic and awesome. We also have some people that have maybe were involved or is in the hobby maybe when they were younger, and life's gotten in the way, and now they're getting back into it, and maybe they're getting closer to being retired and having a little bit more free time, and so they're getting back into it as well. And there's people that have heard about the hobby and are interested in doing helping other people with emergency communications and so forth. So there's a whole host of ways people are getting involved in the hobby, and we see all of that, and it's really exciting. And so it kind of depends on what people want out of the hobby, where they go with it. But I think it's always important, and I think we would always recommend find some local hams and a club and get involved. There's no better way to support and enjoy the hobby than to do it with others who are similarly minded and enjoy it. So find a local club. Uh, Attend the meetings, get on the nets and so forth, and see who's out there and what's out there. They'll lead you down the path and help, and they'll be your Elmers going forward, which is, the helping hands that keep us all going forward. I think that would be a great way to go. And boy, from a radio perspective, there's so many choices these days. We have just some outstanding if you want to get started in VHF, UHF, there's a lot of HTs out there these days that are just awesome radios. From all the stuff that Yaesu, ICOM, and Kenwood offer are great choices. And then as you explore other aspects of the hobby, you mean getting into HF, the high frequency communication stuff from 1 to 30 megahertz or even up to 6 meters these days is fantastic, and conditions are spectacular and only getting better this fall. There's lots of choices on the fronts of getting your first radio. So we have the On All Bands blog that we have, which is a resource that people should really spend some time on. Has great articles on how to get started, some great radios, and then you can write us, or you can call us, and we'll help you as well. But local clubs are the heartbeat of the hobby, and certainly encourage everybody to get involved in their clubs.
Yeah, that's a great point, Scott. And we're on today here on Tuesdays at DX Engineering with Scott Jones, N3RA, who's the sales manager here at DX Engineering. And if you have a question for Scott or myself, but primarily for Scott, because it's rare that we get him on, he'll tell you he's much more comfortable in front of a microphone without a camera. But I'm thrilled that he's on today with us. But if you have a question, put it in the chat, because between me and Scott, we can kind of help you along here. I do want to go over to the chat room, but do take a look over at the top right-hand corner there, on all bands, onallbands.com. And yes, it is a very similar blog to onallcylinders.com that you'll see at our sister company, Summit Racing Equipment. On all bands, on all cylinders, lots of good stuff going on. Dawn is on today from Philadelphia. Always great to have Dawn on with us. Whiskey Juliet 3 United. And Gary, W9 Papa Yankee, is on. And Bubba, November 4, Quebec Mike. And our friend Michael Coulter from the Dayton Hamvention, W8CI down in Xenia, Ohio. Our friend, young friend Michael, W3MLJ from just north of Pittsburgh. And Rodney, Kilo Juliet 5, Fox Whiskey Charlie from the Dallas Fort Worth area. And Don says he started in CB in the early 70s. He was driving a dump truck. He wanted better communications, got his novice in 1976 as WN3BJU. So thank you for sharing your story, Don. Marcos is on here. Let's see. Marcus is from Brazil, Papa 5 Radio Tango. And then we've got another one of the DX Engineering team members. This is Dave, KDV, and I fully agree DXE customers and the DXE team is the best. And Dave, thank you so much for being a part of the team and helping out and bringing your expertise and your experience to the team. And Bubba says he would be interested in learning about the partnership between DX Engineering and Summit Racing, how that came to be, maybe a subject for a future episode. You know, that is a good idea for a future episode. We can bring one of the hams at Summit on that knows a lot of the Summit history. Scott and I know a little bit, but I'd like to have a guest on. That is a great idea. I'll have one of the Summit Racing guys, but we're all one big happy company between Summit Racing and DX Engineering, and we'll have a guest on from Summit Racing to talk about the partnership. That's a great idea. Don says, I agree. DX Engineering is one of the best amateur equipment companies. Bubba says DXE service is second to none. I got to tell you, Bubba, I mean, Scott, how hard do we work at customer service?
It's our mission, right? Customer service is what is the most important thing to us. And people call us, ask us questions all the time, and we help them. And that's our goal, is we do our best. I mean, there are going to be times when we probably don't know the answer, but we'll try really, really hard to find it. And our goal is to make sure that we do the best we can for the customer, get them what they need, help them with the information they need, even if it's just information that they need at this time. We want to make sure we do the right thing by the customers, because that's what we would want in return. So
that's it. Treat every customer like we treat ourselves. We also have Yankee Sierra 1, Yankee Oscar Tango Alpha. Looks like a Yoda operation on here today. Roger, Kilo Victor 4 India, and also Antonia, Papa Yankee 2 Bravo November from Brazil, and Roger, Kilo Victor 4 India. The Jamboree on the Air is coming up. Help introduce youngsters to radio. And we will, Roger, have a JOTA preview here. We'll have somebody on from the JOTA folks to talk about Jamboree on the Air. And that is a great weekend event. Bubba says, so glad to see ham radio being put into a positive light with the emergency assistance in Western North Carolina. And our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody who was affected by the hurricane. Maurice is on, Mauricio, Tango India 2, Charlie Mike from Costa Rica. And Roger says he'll be demonstrating portable operations at the Scout Camp. And Amy, N8AMY, says, Scotty, what is your favorite contest in the fall?
Hi, Amy. Hope you're doing good. So in the fall, so it's hard to pick one. The fall is like the great contest season, right? It's the beginning of the year. The leaves are turning. There's football and there's radio contests, and not in that order, by the way. So CQ Worldwide CW would be my favorite. CQ Worldwide Phone is close behind. There's not a lot like CQ Worldwide. It's just so awesome with so many people all over the world on the air at one time. It makes my spine tingle every year when those times come around. It's really cool. But there's a third one I'll throw in there, and that's kind of a from a hometown perspective, it's Pennsylvania QSO Party. It's the friendly QSO Party, as they like to call it, but Tim and I participated in that and competed against one another for years back in the 80s and probably even into the 90s. It's a great contest on the second full weekend of October. And so I encourage everybody to look that up. But worldwide CW and then worldwide phone, they're top of a lot of people's lists, mine included.
Yeah, no, that's there are great operating activities every weekend, and even during the week there are shorter sprint contests and the WA7BNM contest calendar. Just Google contest calendar, and you're going to find it out. Roger says, Kilo Victor 4 India, he'll be using the DX Engineering carbon fiber pole. Boy, is that a popular product, Scott? I mean, that those things fly off the shelf.
Those carbon fiber masts are fantastic. They're so light, and very just they're so solid and great. But we make regular fiberglass masks that are outstanding as well. We have a great selection of that stuff, and we're really fortunate. And with how for whether it's JOTA or any POTA work, the amount of activity for Parks on the Air is just skyrocketing, and it's an exciting area of the hobby. It really is, and there's a lot of people that just really love to go out, and the amount of activity that POTA generates is remarkable, and it's really exciting to see the growth that's gone on there.
Yeah, it is, and through your team, the sales and technical team, we've developed a lot of packages and products surrounding Parks on the Air, and so we're really proud of that. And you can call any of our guys to talk about your POTA operation and how we might be able to help you have more fun with that. Skip a long path, a longtime supporter of DX Engineering, says, nice to see both of you on today. Yes, it's a great team here at DX Engineering. Reinhard is on, Delta Hotel 3, November Alpha Bravo from Germany. And he sends his greetings. And always like to hear from Reinhard. RF Kit, a tremendous amplifier. And Reinhard, we're glad you're doing well. Steve is on, November Alpha 5 Charlie. Good afternoon, guys. Weekly CWT is a great short midweek event for improving personal CW skills.
Absolutely.
So lots going on during the week as well. Now, Scott, thank you for your leadership on the team. And Scott and I have worked together for over 30 years in various companies, but I'm most proud of the work that we're doing here at DX Engineering, helping you have more fun with the best hobby in the world. Scott, thanks so much for coming on today.
It was great to be here, and I'll look forward to talking to you again soon. And thanks everybody out there for being a DXE customer. We really appreciate it, and we're here to help, and glad to do so.
Thanks to all of you for watching. Hope you had fun. And until next time, 73 from DX Engineering.